This is lesson 1.5 in pre-algebra, and the name of this section is called Division with Negative Numbers. And in 1.4 we did multiplication with negative numbers. Division is the exact same thing. The rules apply to division just like they do multiplication, only we're dividing. So for example, when we have 12 divided by 4, we get 3. When we have negative 12 divided by 4, we have a negative 12 and a positive 4. We have one negative, which is an odd number, so our answer is going to be negative, and we just multiply 12 divided by 4 and get negative 3. Now look what happens when we do 12 divided by negative 4. Rule still applies. We have a negative number, one of them. 1 is an odd number, so our answer is going to be negative, and we just divide 12 divided by 4, and we also get negative 3. So when you're dividing, if both numbers are the same, they're both positive or both negative, then your answer is going to be positive. If one of them's positive and one of them's negative, your answer is going to be negative. Okay, and again with division, there are several ways to write division. This way here is one that you won't see very often anymore. Once you get into higher and higher algebra, your division will look like this: 12 over 3. And that actually means 12 divided by 3, 12 over 3. And that's how you'll see it more often than not when it comes to some upper level math and the continuation of this class, although in this particular lesson they'll give you a lot of the regular old division signs like this as they're doing it. Now a couple things that I want to share with you that have to do with your division, and let's look at it as the division line. Let's look at 12 over 3, and we're going to put a negative sign there. That is the exact same thing as the 12 over negative 3. Now notice I did that up here. I have the negative 12 divided by 4 and I got negative 3. I did 12 divided by negative 4 and got negative 3. So our answer is the same. So if we have a negative on top, well, in this case, let me go ahead and make this little change here. We actually had this as a 4, didn't we? So we'll make those 4s. So it follows with what we did up here. So it doesn't matter if the negative is on the top or if it's on the bottom. The answer, if it's 12 over 4, you're going to get 3. And if you have one negative, it doesn't matter if it's on the 12 or on the 4. Same thing. So if you come up with an answer, negative 12 over 4, and the book says 12 over negative 4, you're not wrong. Same thing. And there's one final way of writing this, and that would be put the negative sign there and put 12 over 4 there. So the negative is kind of like on the same level that the division line is here. And you're just saying that negative 12 over 4. Okay, so these three fractions or division problems are the exact same. Okay, so let's look at a couple of examples and go from there. Let's look at example 3. Example 3 is negative 15 plus 5 times negative 4. And they're putting it over 12 minus 17. Alright, so one of the rules, and I don't know that the book teaches this, but I teach it, and it is that this little division line here divides our numerator and our denominator. So what I suggest doing is do everything in the numerator until it's down to one number, and do everything in the denominator until it's down to one number, and then go across the line and do the division. So let's do that here. Now I had mentioned in one of the other problems that you do what's in the parentheses first. Well, there's our parenthesis, but there's nothing you can really do there. It's just a number, negative 4. The next step I said we were going to do was the multiplication. So let's do that. Let's leave everything else the exact same. Let's just do that multiplication there. So 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. And let's leave the 12 minus 17 there. Okay, now let's look at this. We have two numbers where the signs are the same. When the signs are the same, you add the numbers and you put the sign of the problems on the answer. On the bottom, we have a 12 minus 17. We're going to change that to 12 plus negative 17. And that gives me, leave my negative 35 alone. On the bottom, the signs are different, so we're going to take the difference between the two and put the sign of the largest number on there. Now I have negative 35 over negative 5. I have two negatives. 2 is an even number, so I know my answer is going to be positive. 35 divided by 5 is 7, and you're done. Alright, let's look at example 4, because we're going to put a little bit different spin on, remember I had told you that your order of operations, the order that you do things, multiplication, division, subtraction, and addition, is called the order of operations. What order do you do these things in? And we'll look at that in this one because we're going to add another couple pieces to this. Alright, so the rule of operations, the order of operations says we're going to do the parentheses first, then we're going to do the exponents, then we're going to do the multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. Now some of you may remember this from younger years as please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Anymore we don't do that, we just call it PEMDAS. So that's the order that you always do this in. Now let me get a couple things straight. You do what's in the parentheses first, you do the exponents, you do the multiplication or the division from left to right in the order that you come across it, and you do the addition or subtraction from left and right in whatever order it comes to. I usually wait to do the division until last. In fact, when I come up with something like this, well, let's just go ahead and do this. We're going to do what's in the parentheses first. Well, we have a 10 squared in the parenthesis. And in that parenthesis is an exponent, a 2 right there. So we're going to do that first, and that's all we're going to do. Negative 4 times 100 plus 20 divided by negative 4. Okay, so that's the first step. Next step we're going to do is multiplication. Well, there's a multiplication right there. So negative 400 plus 20 divided by negative 4. And this is what gets some people into trouble. They will do this, negative 400 plus 20, first. But what does our PEMDAS say over here? It says that after we do the multiplication, we do the division. The addition doesn't happen until after we do the division. So let's do that. Negative 400 plus, here's the division, 20 divided by negative 4. Signs are different. You have one division, or the negative 4 there, so a positive 20 divided by negative 4 gives us a negative answer there, a negative 5. Now we do our addition. And our addition says that if the signs are the same, we add the numbers. Oops, got too many zeros there. And we put the sign that is the same for both the 400 and the 5 on our answer, and then we're done. This is going to take some practice. It's a lot of stuff to remember, and when you're in math, the further you go in math, the more complicated the math gets. You not only are doing new stuff, but you also have to remember everything that you've done in the past. It doesn't just go away. So it gets to be kind of overwhelming, all the stuff you have to remember. So this next video we'll do some problem sets for 1.5.